Hello, and welcome to another episode of Random Health-ish. I am your host, Dr. GLORIA STONE-OZBEK, and tonight we are going to be diving into spiritual health going into 2021. So we're also going to be tapping into some current events as well. And tonight I have a very special guest. So join me in welcoming Mr. Robert Shepard. Hello, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very well.
So let's tap into this. 2021, everybody, has the mindset of new year, new me, and all that good jazz. So what are some things that we can do to kind of work on our spiritual health going into the new year?
Well, one of the things I do want to start off with is, in order to renew, a lot of times, and I look at it in a sense of, a new year, new me. I like to use the analysis of the analogy of a computer. Sometimes we can get we can have our computer on, and sometimes we run it for days, and we get certain updates, and those updates come in, and we can download those updates, but those updates won't take effect. Just like your phone, you get a new update, you can download it, but it won't take effect unless you restart.
Yes.
You restart or reset. And a lot of times, in order to renew, we got to reset. We're going to have to reset. We're going to have to, and I like what the Bible said, in Romans 12, verse 1, and it said, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. And be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mm-hmm. So that's instructions in the sense from a spiritual standpoint that we have to renew or change our mindsets in order to have the expected outcome. And it's funny that you talk about that, because I made a post earlier on my page, and it said, literally, these are the words verbatim. It said, 2021 will be the same as 2020 if you maintain the same mindset. So you have to commit to doing the work to bring the desired change.
Yes, that's true. And I think a lot of people, they wait until, the last week of December, January 1st. Okay, now all of a sudden I'm going to be a brand new me, but it don't work like that. I think that it starts with like you said, the mindset. You have to change your mind and then move forward. Don't wait till the end of the year to try to, change your efforts or apply for that new job or, enroll into that new program. Don't wait till the last minute to do that.
Well, a lot of us naturally, we like to wait, or we look for a significant emotional event to give us the motivation that we need to make that change. And a lot of times we look for somebody to give us that push, or we look for something to happen drastically. And sadly, that's how a lot of change is initiated. But really, in life, changes all start with a decision. It all starts with a choice. So, and you know what? We know what we need to change.
That's true.
We know what we need to work on. A lot of times it's a combination of not having a safe space. Mm-hmm. Because your support system really plays a big role. If you got, if you can feel safe and let somebody know where you're struggling with. And a lot of times we aren't, like, when you're tired of being sick and tired, you'll make that change.
Yes.
A lot of times we just irritated, but we're not tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. And I think that we, as human beings, are always striving to create this balance in life, balance between work, balance between home, balance between, school, personal relationships, your balance, with God. And, but is there ever truly a balance?
So when we say balance, right? Balance is that's like the argument between equality and equity. Mm-hmm. All things can't be equal, but it's all about what you put your efforts to and what's a priority for you. I think when you have our priorities in the right place and we're putting the right effort towards things, that's what we achieve balance. Because I can separate the day and give everything that's that I do on the same time. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna be sufficiently the same, because some things I can spend 20 minutes with, the other things I may need to spend 2 hours with, but both of them getting what they need from it. So that's why I say balance is all about the prioritization and where you're willing to put forth your efforts.
Yes. And I think too, it's also about perception. Because, you know, a lot of people, they forget to be appreciative of the things that they already have. They feel like, oh, well, you know, this person got this house, this person got this brand new car, I need to step my game up. But it's like, but what do you have already? You know what I mean?
You know, what we need to learn to do is just compete against ourselves.
Yes.
Like, who cares that you're 40 years old and you haven't bought your house yet? That's your timeline.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So who cares about any other thing that we put these unnecessary stresses on ourselves and we get upset about it. But, you know, the focus should be, and the reason why I say compete against yourself, because nobody that's ever been created ever in the history of the world can outdo Dr. GLORIA OZBEK from being Dr. GLORIA OZBEK.
Yeah.
Nobody can outdo me being me. And if I focus on improving myself, that eliminates me worrying about what other people think, because I'm constantly seeking how I get better.
Yeah. I think that was one of the challenges that I personally had when I first graduated from chiropractic school, because everybody was opening their own office. You know what I mean? So I felt that pressure, like, okay, I need to open my own office too. I need to get it. You know, I've been training, I've been working hard for this, you know, this whole time. I need my own office. And I opened my first practice and it failed before I even got it open gutted. You know, comparing myself to other people. So, you know, we definitely have to take a deeper look within ourselves, see what we are personally deficient in, and then, you know, just kind of work on steps to better ourselves to kind of get to where we need to be.
You know, first of all, we have to do an inventory, a self-inventory, and really say, where am I lacking? Like, where some areas I need to do work on, what some areas I need to identify. And I'm not just saying it's just like I'm talking about some things personally that I'm speaking to myself, even some things I'm looking at what I need to improve on going into the next year. Because one thing I realized is, as I think about it, where I'm at right now, even though I may have achieved a lot of things, I'm still nowhere near where I know where my potential can take me. Yeah. And that's because I haven't done the necessary work that I needed to do to get there. Yes. So how am I going to get there? I can stay comfortable where I'm at, or I can commit to making those changes and changing my mindset and go forward and do what I need to do.
And I think also too, one of the biggest dream killers is procrastination.
Lord Jesus.
So I think that when we procrastinate, a lot of times we procrastinate in fear. We're in fear of what responsibilities are going to come with the challenges that, you know, we kind of want to achieve. So for instance, if you know, okay, I want to open up a restaurant, just thinking about it, you're already doubting yourself. You're already putting in your mind like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. I don't know how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do about staff. I don't know how to do it. You're already kind of like putting it in your mind that you don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. And then you psych yourself out about doing it. And so this happens more often than not. And so I think that we sometimes kill our dreams before we are even able to kind of get them off the floor. And so, and I know that was one of the issues with me, because a lot of people were like, I have been telling people like, hey, I want to do this show. And I was telling Portia, I was like, I want to do a show. And I was just like, I don't know what I want to do it about. But I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I said, you know what, Portia, I'm just going to do it. You know, I'm just going to do it. I didn't know where I would get guests from. I didn't know anything. And I have now, my show is booked up until April.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all I had to do was get started.
Get started.
And one of the hardest things is getting started.
Yeah. Because we psych ourselves out so much. And, you know, when you say procrastination, so I'm going to be transparent on this. God has spoke to me about writing a book over 10 years ago. One of the main reasons why I didn't write the book was because I felt that I wasn't qualified to write the book at the time. I felt that I needed more time, or I needed a title, or I needed something behind me to in a sense to validate me from doing what God told me to do. And a good friend of mine, she's also an editor, author herself. You know, she's been being obedient to God and dropping nuggets. And I say, you know what, 2021 is the year that I'm going to write the book. But one of the things with the writing is I had to improve my writing. Had good content, but the structure wasn't good.
Yes.
So, you know, and it wasn't a lack. And a lot of things, I want to say this because it's not a lack of education or something like this. You know, I took my college English class at Alabama A&M in 1998. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And just being out of that structured writing piece, you know, I had to get back into it, and currently in school right now, and learning those necessary things so that I can structure it the right way and present it. But 2021, the book gonna be written this year. It will be written.
Nice.
And I'm not procrastinating no more about it because I didn't put it off long enough. So
yes. And you know what? Just writing, I was talking to someone and they suggested, you know, just writing maybe like 2 pages a day. If you know, and one thing I always tell myself is a little bit every day helps to paint the bigger picture.
I want to share this. I was in Korea. In Korea, I was, you know, been in the military for almost 21 years, and was in Korea, and the battalion I was in, the 122nd Signal Battalion, they used to do an annual ruck march up to a radio hill in Korea. Now, from the foot of the hill all the way up to the top, it's like almost 3.5, 4 miles, and we're talking about going up like a mountain.
Right.
So, and it was done by time. So you go up to the top, and when you get up to the top, you know, you come back down, and it's all based off time. Now, if I start at the starting point and I look up to the top, you know, you'd be like, man, I'm not going to do that. But my battalion commander she said something at the time, and she was like, you take one step at a time. And if you focus on one step at a time instead of the 10,000 or the 100,000 steps, you're accomplishing those steps, and you're gaining those small wins as you go. And as you do one, next time you look, you at 100. You look back, you realize, dang, I came a long way. And you just continue on. And that's why I just wanted to share that. I kind of use that nugget to kind of remind myself when I look at something big, just do small things at a time. Small things.
And as Ms. Shepard said, I'm afraid of failure. But the thing is, failure is going to happen. We can't stop that, because you have to learn from the failures.
You know, that is
supposed to.
We supposed to. We actually do. We just don't apply those things or put those things in place to make the necessary changes.
Yes, that's true.
Because when you fail, you know, I'm talking about true failure. You learn from it, but it all depends on how we're willing. You know, and that's really about a desire to grow. You got to have that desire to grow, and a lot of people just don't.
Yeah, that's true. Or they say that they want to, but they don't. They're too stubborn to change their ways and do what is necessary to get to the next step in their lives. Or they haven't taken the time to identify what's behind, why they are the way that they are. Yeah. See, that's a whole nother level. But a lot of the ways and the dysfunctional ways that we have are rooted in a trauma and a hurt. And I preached on this yesterday, talking about the story of Joseph and how Joseph was prepared for his purpose, but God showed me that Joseph had to heal before he could walk into his purpose. And he had to heal from the trauma of his brothers selling him into prison. And he was in jail. And if he didn't heal when he got elevated to be second in charge of Egypt, he could have had his brother killed when they came to get some grain from him. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, a lot of things, the reason why we consistently have failure, we face failures, is we really afraid. We're afraid to face whatever trauma or whatever hurt that impacted us, even as a child, as a young boy, all the way up through our childhood.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true. And I think so another topic, that I wanted to kind of tap into tonight, we want to talk about Dr. Susan Moore. So if you have not seen the video already, Dr. Susan Moore was a physician and she was in the hospital with COVID-19. And she just did not get the treatment that she needed. So I'm going to play a quick snippet of the video in case you have not seen it. So one moment, please.
This is the second worst day here at IU North. Yesterday, Dr. Bannock, Bannec, wanted to send me home. At that time, I'd only received 2 treatments of the remdesivir. He said, you don't need it. You're not even short of breath. I said, yes, I am.
Okay, so Robert, what do you think of that? Can you imagine that?
One thing, I watched the whole video, and I for everybody that's watching, I really recommend that you're going to watch the video. It was very saddening to me that a patient that will be paying for the service rendered was treated the way that she was treated. And it just saddened to me because it was saddened, but also one shock. And the reason why I wasn't shocked is because this is nothing new. Being honest with you, it's nothing new. It's something that it's numerous of counts that happen all throughout America, that patients aren't treated fairly. Mm-hmm. And even in the video, I go on to talk about the video, even the nurse that was on duty that day still, had an attitude. And I understand about COVID, and I understand with the high stress and the high demand, and a lot of respect for the first responders and those on the front line. But still, that doesn't negate your responsibility for treating people with dignity and respect.
Yes. And the fact that the doctor tried to accuse her of only wanting pain medications, like she was a drug addict.
Yeah.
Like, I just could not believe that. Like, this is a physician. This is your colleague that you're treating like this.
Yeah.
And they just, blew her off, and then she died after that.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was complaining about pain in her neck. Like, I get it. Some people, patients do different things, but just from the look of, she didn't look like somebody coming in trying to scheme. And I guarantee you she wouldn't have been in the hospital if they hadn't checked that she had insurance.
Yep. And then what made him finally decide to give her the medications was that they took, I think, an MRI or CT scan, and they saw pulmonary infiltrates in her lungs.
Yeah.
And so it's just crazy that there is a level of inequality when it comes to, I don't want to say minority, but I'm going to say people of color, when they go to medical facilities, that their issues are not always kind of taken into consideration. Their pain levels are not taken into consideration. They feel as though Black people have a strong, high pain tolerance. So we can't be hurting, like we say we are.
Yeah. So
what are you going to say?
I just say, like, with, a lot of those perceptions are reality for a lot of us. And I'll just say this. Like I said, I've been in the military for it'd be 21 years in February. my everyday, if my preference, I love to be in like t-shirts, sweats. You know, that's just, I mean, I just like being comfortable like that. And I can remember I was coming back from Virginia and went up for some training, was coming back, and me and some friends, we was riding together, and we stopped at a gas station in North Carolina. And in the gas station in North Carolina, it was an older couple. I had on had my Alabama hat on, t-shirt, and I just spoke, "Hey sir, how you doing?" The guy looked at me and went back to pumping gas. And the first thing that jumped in my mind was, if I had my uniform on, if I had my uniform on, would the response been the same? And that's a reality that the perception of things is something that impacts a lot of people, and a lot of people are dismissive of it because there's not a reality to them. And I just try to explain that to people that, you know, that it's not always the case, but it is a factor.
Yes, definitely. Ms. Shepherd said it was the Alabama hat.
Yeah, I won't wear the Auburn one. I won't wear the Auburn one.
But you know what? We see this a lot though when it comes to Black women giving birth as well. So there is like a big this is a big thing with inequality in the birthing community. So, but you know what? It's like you think like, how can we fix this? The only way we can fix it is getting more Black physicians to treat more people of color. You know?
I think even Serena Williams talked about her issues when she
yep.
You know, and or you can look at just a lot of things when we talk about things, right? I look at we look at certain formulas, and they tell us this is the formula, this is how you do it. And I like to use sports. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, won MVP last year. You see Patrick Mahomes, he won MVP and won the Super Bowl. So he's on the commercial with Aaron Rodgers and Allstate and all these different places. I haven't seen Lamar Jackson on one commercial, but I see Baker Mayfield, who hadn't even won a playoff game yet, who hadn't done anything. He was the number 1 overall draft pick in the same draft class. He get commercials after commercials. So it's all about the perception and what they see and what they feel like they can market. And if you're a darker skin, there's a perception that comes with that. You know, just like a perception being from Alabama, people assume that you're unintelligent.
Yep. Yep. And do you know how many people I have treated like on numerous occasions, and then they'll ask me on like the 5th visit, "So are you the doctor?" Like, what do you think? Like, I just treated you 5 visits, lady. Like, what is wrong with you? And so it's something that, you know, I feel like sometimes when I'm in the office, I have to wear my doctor's coat, because when they come in, they automatically assume that I'm the front desk girl.
Now, it's 2 parts to that. One part, just like what you said earlier, we got to get more people so that it can become more common.
Yes.
And when we continue to deal with outliers, a lot of people like to equate the outliers as the norm. For example, you know, people like to, you know, I done some research and I looked it up. It's like 10.2 millionaires in America out of the 330 million people. It's 1,800 billionaires. Out of the 1,800 billionaires, I think it's like 3 Black people. 3 Black people.
I'm trying to get that Oprah money.
But I'm saying, when we think about it, people are like, well, Oprah can do it. Michael Jordan can do it. They 2 out of 40 million people.
Yeah.
What about the other numbers when we doing the demographics and the breakdown? And that all goes to a lot of different things. But what we have to do is we have to start talking to our children, start building our children up, and start getting them to start going into it, having more presence to where, you know, like a good friend of mine, I got a lot of my classmates, they are business owners, and I like to promote them a lot. So people from where I'm from can see that you can do it. You can do it. And that will help combat a lot of things. But, and it's not like the lady, the person that got treated 5 times, like, "Are you the doctor?" They're not really being disrespectful. They just, the automatic assumption is you're assisting. You're not the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. So I'm trying to think, what are some ways that we can just kind of outside of, getting doctors in the offices and things of that nature. Um, I think that we need to start creating like generational wealth for our kids. And a lot of times we look at people, we go to people who look like us for advice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that look like you
Listen.
don't want to help you.
Listen.
I'm trying to tell you something now. I'm trying to tell you something.
Hey, you speaking the gospel right now. You speaking.
It was, and Portia knows about these. There was something I was trying to do. I reached out to several doctors that looked like me, just for advice. I don't need no money from you. I don't need, I just want to know, this is what I'm thinking about doing. This is what you're already doing. Like, can you just talk to me? Just have a conversation with me about this, things that you went through, things that you wish you knew, before you got into this. And nothing. Listen to me. I reached out to people for recommendation letters. Oh, I'm going to do it for you. Nothing. I have not heard from, you know what I mean? I've not heard from these people since. So a lot of times I feel like too, we hinder ourselves with that as well. Because like I said, everybody who looks like you is not in your corner. They don't want you to be on the same level that they are on.
Listen. It's two sides to this, and I want to talk the one side. We have an expectation as people, minorities or people of color, that we're going to get the hookup from somebody else who may have been a trailblazer and open the door. I can remember being a new lieutenant, a junior officer, and I had a former soldier was like, "Hey, sir, where I'm from, people look out for each other." Try to imply I was like, where I'm from, people earn what they get. No, you see what I'm saying? Like if you are and people don't mind helping you if you're putting forward the work first. And I will tell you, since I've been in the military, the people that have helped me the most have not had the same pigmentation that I had on my skin.
Yeah.
And what they've done was, it wasn't like a charity case. They saw me put the work in, and then they were willing to reach out to me. I've had, now don't get it twisted, I've had plenty of people who there's a lot of them that I'm personal friends with on Facebook that I've acquainted over Facebook and dialogue that I was like, man, I need to connect with them. Like I need to connect with them. They got something that I see that I need to pull from, that I have a lot of respect for. But I'm just talking about in general, the things that you're talking about, you reaching out to people, it's like, man, it's like it's like the people that you go with, they seem to be more negative towards you than people that don't look like you.
Yes, and the thing is, but all across social media, it's all about, oh, I'm this in the community. I look out for people, and then when it's time to, eat those words, where to be found.
Well, listen.
You know what I mean?
I said that your audio need to match your visual. And a lot of people, like the kids say, they be capping. They be capping. They be lying because really they want the perception of doing something, but they're not authentically who they are. And when you're really committed to helping people, it shows in what you do. You have a passion for giving back. And giving back doesn't mean that I'm going to make it easy for you, but I'm going to give you the tools so that you can walk the journey yourself.
So you can work hard to get to where you're trying to be. And like Miss Felicia said, she said, if you earn it, you'll value it more, which is true. But sometimes you just need help just to, like I said, get started. You know what I mean? You don't need the money. It's not about the money. It's not about all that stuff. If I'm coming to you just to have a conversation, yes, it costs you your time. And time is money. I get it. I understand that. But it doesn't kill you to kind of just have a chat with me.
Now, I would tell you, my mom used to say this all the time. because you know my sister Portia, and if you ever had to deal with Portia, I grew up with her. So I used to get very upset because Portia has always had the mentality of if she make her mind up about she gonna do something, she don't care about the consequences at all. She gonna do what Portia want to do, right? And I used to be the brother like Portia, don't do that because this gonna happen. Like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And Portia still like, shoot, I'm gonna do Portia.
Yeah.
My mom said, Robert, you're only responsible for telling. And the reason why I say that is there's been plenty of times where I've had levels of success, and I tried to share that with other people. Like, hey, I'm not telling you, like, I love to cook, right? And I do like little videos about cooking.
I saw your little cabbage greens on the grill.
You know I had to do a little something. But I like to give people my recipe, but I don't like to tell them this is how you need to do it. Because if I see something I like, I go to the recipe, but I'm not going. I don't ever use the same recipe. I'm gonna put my seasoning on it.
Yeah.
And I've offered people help before. I've been like, hey, look, hey, this right here, like this right here worked. And hey, I'm telling you, and I've even had been in positions where I had access to the decision makers. And I would hear what they say that they wanted. And I'm like, hey, this is what they're looking for, X, Y, and Z. And some people, they want to go and be great. And guess what? I let them go and be great. Yeah. I'm telling you, they like A, B, and C. But if you want to do X, Y, Z, you know, you go ahead on and be great.
Yeah, that's true. So, Robert, let's jump into this vaccine passport. So I know you guys have heard the rumors of, you know, if you want to travel outside of the country, that they may be requiring that you get the vaccine, and you have to show proof through a vaccination passport. So what are your thoughts on that?
Me personally, I know it may upset some people, but I'm not totally against it. Let me tell you why.
Please tell me why. Okay.
I'll tell you why. COVID started in China, in Wuhan. Allegedly. Allegedly started in China. And the first known cases, if I recall, was up in Washington State area. Look at how, if you look at it right now, you know, especially in the military, if you look at it, a lot of countries have America blacklisted. Like America, we can't really travel nowhere.
Germany is on that list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at it, and being someone who lived in different countries before, I've lived in Korea, I lived in Germany. We operate differently in the States.
Yeah.
And I say we operate differently in the States because of some of the freedoms that we have, but also too, there's a lot of things that as being citizens and the freedoms that we had, we have developed a mindset of can't nobody tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And as far as with COVID, it doesn't. If we go, just say, if I may not have had it because I may be asymptomatic and may not be showing no symptoms, and I travel to another country. What we're gonna find out is we'll have issues. If I get over there and then I get sick, then what they're gonna do with you over there before you come back?
Make you quarantine. Well, depends on where you at.
Depends on where you at. That's what I'm saying. So to kind of eliminate that, and I mean, and we don't even know if the vaccine gonna work. You know what I'm saying? It's something right now. So I'm all about anything that's gonna keep the majority of people safe. Because at the end of the day, whatever they're gonna, I feel like I'm saying this. I feel like whatever decision that is made is going to be one that they're going to try to make as much money as possible.
Do you know? Okay, first of all, let me put the disclaimer out there. Okay? I am not advising anyone to get the vaccination or not get the vaccination. If you are considering the vaccination, please consult with your primary care physician. Do your research. Make an informed consent. Okay. Now let me say what I want to say.
Now, I will say this too. There's a lot of emphasis being put on the vaccine and the potential side effects for it, right?
Robert, have you seen those side effects?
Yeah, I seen that. This one nurse I seen she had Bell palsy from it.
Yeah, it was more than one.
No, I'm just saying. I've seen one video, but what? Think about the other medicine out there that's common medicine that cause a lot of side effects.
Well, death.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of side effects that nobody's really talking about, and we want to look at this as if this is in a sense of abnormal. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of other medicines out there that are common that nobody care about. And I posted a joke about the Viagra. And nobody complained about, Viagra was originally a heart medication.
Exactly.
And was the infamous blue pill, and they just marketed it differently. So, nobody's complaining about that side effect. So I just say, it's just like what you said, consult your doctor, do what you feel like, educate yourself, and do whatever you feel like is in the best interest. But don't propagate stuff that you don't know about. And just be informed.
Definitely be informed. But I will say this. One reason that I am a bit hesitant about the whole thing, one, it's the vaccine. This is a different vaccine. This is not like the other vaccinations. This vaccine, affects your mRNA. When you're talking about, I don't want to get too nerdy on y'all, talking about DNA, mRNA. So it's a different mechanism. So it's not like, the measles, mumps, rubella vaccination and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of knowledge about it. They don't really know what the side effects are. They really are learning it as we learn it when people pass out live on TV 17 minutes after taking it. Okay? So that's kind of why I'm hesitant about it. I feel like I don't want to dive too deep into it, but, because I do have some people on my timeline that have been getting it. So, but for me, it's going to be a no.
So I would tell you from the passing out piece, I've gotten plenty of shots myself, like hundreds of shots since I've been in the military. And I've seen soldiers pass out from a standard shot. Like, but
that's when they're getting it, Robert. This was 17 minutes later.
I mean, they may have been, they may have been.
White, Robert. She just passed out right there on the spot.
They may have been, dealing with anxiety. No, I'm just joking. I just want to, I'm not really being a devil's advocate, but kind of bring some realism to it because I know this is an emotional topic. But like I've gotten hundreds of shots, series of shots, been in the military, and hopefully I'm good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, so Ms. Shepard said the vaccine is new technology. So although other meds have side effects, this is new technology. Nobody really knows how it's going to work. And then the Pfizer, one of the manufacturers of this drug, was like, nah, y'all go ahead. I don't want to skip. Y'all get it first. Like,
but you know what? That's the same, like what a lot of people don't know. I can remember reading an article years ago. It was this doctor in San Francisco. She ran the cancer ward. She ended up getting cancer herself. She refused to get chemotherapy because she know what chemo does to the body.
Exactly.
So she ended up going to a plant-based diet. And the story was more of it's talking about a transformation of her faith. She ended up going to the Bible and consulting with other things, and she completely changed her diet, and her diet really killed the cancer.
Yeah.
And she talking about how before she was an agnostic and then how that helped her with her faith. But that always stood out to me. She was the one prescribing people with chemo, and she refused to take it when she got diagnosed with cancer.
Well, the thing is, cancer is uncontrolled cell growth. It means that your body is not able to maintain homeostasis. And so it just continues to make cells. It's not operating for, your body don't know how to tell it to stop. It's just constantly making cells, and get the cell overgrowth, so forth and so on.
Can you say that? Can you say that nerd word again? Homeo what?
Homeostasis.
You had a nerd moment. I just want to highlight
It's just like balance.
Yeah.
So your pH levels, your body can't be too acidic, it can't be too alkaline, it has to be, right in the middle. And so when your body is not there, it could be due to your diet, because a lot of the stuff that we're eating in our food in the United States is banned in other countries.
Listen, same product, completely different
ingredients.
Listen,
listen. So my husband is Turkish.
Listen.
So when we eat over there, that food tastes, and I'm talking about, they even got Burger King. They got all that stuff over there. It's completely different.
Listen. Like what you're talking about is 100% facts. When me and my family lived in Germany, just Heinz ketchup.
Different.
I mean, McDonald's.
Different.
Burger King, everything is different, and they don't have all those preservatives.
Yes.
Even the Coke, even the Sprite.
Yes.
It's different, and you Europe don't have the same level.
Killing us, Robert. This food is really killing me, and we wonder why. Our people got obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes. All this stuff is coming from our food.
I was just the obesity rate in Germany is nowhere near, even in Europe, is nowhere near what it is in the States, and that's a whole nother subject of how things are done, even with their healthcare system over there, where everybody like over here, like they say, oh, it's socialized healthcare. Well, I went from the time I went into the nursing room until when I was in surgery for my appendicitis, appendectomy I had, was 45 minutes. That's from the time I walked up to the desk. Within those 45 minutes, I got an ultrasound and signed paperwork so they can take me into surgery in 45 minutes.
Yeah. When I got sick in Turkey, and because we were in the mountains to visit his grandparents in Adıyaman, and I drank the water from the mountain. That water was so cold, Robert. It was so cold and good. Baby, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And he had to run me to the emergency room. And all they did was, ask for my name, my social security number, and they treated me for free.
Yeah.
And this was an emergency room. That would have been, I went to the emergency room here. Baby, they sent me a bill like $3,000.
I was just, Gloria, listen to this. I had an appendectomy. They ended up doing a biopsy because I had a 3-centimeter tumor in my appendix.
Yeah.
Came back benign. I was in the hospital for 4 days. So all of that, right? Emergency room, surgery, hospital for 4 days. I got I'm with TRICARE, the military, and TRICARE send you they send you like a copy of it.
Yeah.
That costs $3,500.
Well, a lot of people, that's why they go overseas to get dental work or, all this other stuff. Yeah. Because I'm going to retire overseas. We just finished our home there. Well, It's not completely finished. We got like 1 or 2 more things we have to do. But that's what we're going to retire. I don't have time for this. You try to retire with your little couple $100,000. You barely living over here.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, and that's also too, being there, you seeing certain things and you realize like, wow. And that just opened my eyes from that experience. And just hearing the rhetoric that's here from people that don't know, it's really eye-opening. And there's a lot of things too. I know we done went off on some other stuff.
But we all over the place tonight, Robert. That's okay.
But that just the food and the quality of food that is there. And they they don't play about that. You're not putting all that extra stuff in there. You're not. Those countries are like, no. And in the States, we're like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. And it's all because of campaign contributions. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Longer shelf lives and all. And I seen a thing earlier, a video. It was talking about a blueberry in 1950 was small like this, and then the one now is like big. And it's just, but we don't have the same level of nutrients in it, but it has more of a sugar content because we want to make it look more appealing to the eyes so people can buy it and have longer shelf life.
Did you know they even put dye in the carrots?
Yeah.
You know how when you go buy the little bag of baby carrots,
yeah,
and they're like this bright orange. When you buy regular carrots out of like the farmer's market, they are not that bright.
Nope.
And when you look on the back on the ingredients, I forgot the name of it. It starts with an A, but they put that in there that makes the carrots look more vibrant.
I seen a you know how you get the chicken from Walmart, the Great Value chicken, and it has the bag, the frozen chicken, and somebody showed one time on Facebook, it said 100% chicken if chicken.
And then I was looking for some chicken for my sister in there, and the chicken said with rib meat.
Yep.
Why does my chicken have rib meat? This is kind of like this is crazy.
But that's a marketing plan. I put 100% chicken in big letters, and then if chicken underneath small. So people, oh, that's 100% chicken. No,
yeah,
so
what they eat.
But then we have to deal with the consequences of it with, you know, with the cancer and everything. And just like, you know, I've seen a lot of people too with the vaccination. They was like, you know, HIV and cancer been out all this time and we don't have a cure. I was like, bro, cancer is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry.
It is. So it's really no rush to, you know, look at how much, and a lot of people may get upset about this, but a lot of people donate to Susan Komen for breast cancer awareness and all that stuff. But if you really look at the fine print, they really only donate a very, very small percentage towards breast cancer research.
So the same thing too, when we start talking about these things, you know, a lot of people get mad when you start talking about Planned Parenthood. And it's like, well, you know, abortion only make up 3% of the services that they provide. Yes, they do. That is a correct statement. They only make up 3%, but it also make up 85% of their profit.
Yeah.
When you start to follow the money, just like what you said, oh, you donate to them. Oh, we raised $100 million, and the fine print said only 10% is really donated to.
Right. You gotta read that fine print.
What you doing with the other 90?
Right, in my bank account.
Yeah.
Straight to that bank account. But that's why we have to do better in educating ourselves. We have to start reading the food labels. Mm-hmm. If you read something and you don't know what it is, Google it, baby. That's your best friend right now. You know, everything is on Google right now.
Everything.
So just, you know, if you, like, for instance, there's this chemical called aspartame. It's found in a lot of soft drinks and gum. Mm. One of the side effects of aspartame is memory loss. Mm. So we're chewing that winter fresh. About 60, you know, your mind starts to go. So, you know, it plays a role into our everyday lives, but a lot of times we just kind of brush it off. We don't even really look too deep into it. You know what I mean?
Well, they bank off us resting on the convenience and being ignorant about things. And just like what you said earlier, when we want to bring change, it's like we talking about getting more, like people don't care about our emotions. I'm being honest with you. So we can be emotional all we want. But you won't see change until there's something backed up behind it with a plan and also resources that's backed up behind it. So, you know, a lot of people people of color, we like to be emotional about things, but when we start talking about coming together, then we fight amongst ourselves. And that's on all levels. You know, like right now in concept of faith, me, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. That's me. Right? Nothing gonna change that. A debate or that's not gonna change what I believe, because my beliefs is based off my personal experiences. Mm-hmm. My personal experiences. But if you believe something different than me, I have the utmost respect for that. I don't have to attack what you believe.
Right.
But guess what? We can believe two totally different things and come together for a greater good, and that's not an issue for me. Because it's a betterment for the overall, for the community, for whatever cause we're working for. And that's one of the big problems that I say we have as a community, because You know, we'll focus on the, oh, you're AKA, you're a Delta. Listen, what are we here for?
Mm-hmm.
What can we work towards? What's the end state? And if we get over that, it's a lot more we can accomplish and we can do.
Right. And it's all about networking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And, you know, like people
and
say,
sharing information.
Your net worth.
Sharing information. And listen, and what you will find out, I had a friend of mine on my show a few weeks back, and he said, you know, he deals with millionaires. Like, he's in the realtor business, and he deals with millionaires, and they're so willing to help you if you're putting in the work.
Right.
And they give you the information, but you got to be in a position of where you can action it.
Right.
I can't.
Because the opportunities will come, but are you ready for them when they get to you?
Yeah. And then I can't keep talking about the man that's holding me down if I never position myself to take advantage of the opportunities when they come.
Yeah. A lot of people think that people become successful overnight, but what they don't realize is all the hours and stuff that people put into, you know, just trying to perfect their craft.
So in the book Outliers, I read a book called Outliers. And in that book, the guy was talking about studies show that it takes you 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So you think about it. Think about the hours that you put into you becoming a chiropractor. The hours. You know what I'm saying? Like the becoming an expert at something, it takes you roughly about 10,000 hours. So when you look at sports, we look at Steph Curry and how he shoots. He put in hours, thousands of hours to perfect that. And what I like what he did in that book is he talked about the time and the commitment that's put into it so that they could be, in a sense, considered exceptional at what they do.
Yes.
Are we willing to dedicate that time, that commitment, those hours to become the best version of what we can in that area? Or do we just want to say we want to do it and reap the benefits for it without putting the work in?
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people want to do. They just want to reap the benefits. I just want to be famous. I don't want to kind of, you know, do what I need to do to get there. Mm-hmm. And it don't work like that.
No, it does not.
And a lot of times too, there's opportunities out there, but you have to look for them.
Yes. So I like to share this story. When I wanted to become an officer, Gloria, I came back from Iraq and I went to the education center, and they have the counselors in there, and they tell you, you know, they're there to answer your questions. And I went in and talked to this African-American female counselor. And I was like, hey, I want to do green to gold, and I want to, you know, transition from being enlisted to officer. And this is what she told me. She said, if you want to be an officer bad enough, you'll figure it out. Boy, I was hot. I was mad. I'm like, man, you supposed to tell, like, I'm here. You supposed to tell me, say no more. So I just went back, went on Google, started looking up, found out everything I needed to do, went on the website, read it, found out what the qualifications are, found out what I needed. I did the legwork, put my packet together, pushed it through. And when I got selected for it, I went back in and I was talking to the school because I got my bachelor's degree through Troy. And she called me in the office and she said, I know you was upset at me, but she said, I get people coming here all the time and I give them the information and they don't do nothing with it. I wanted to, if you wanted to be it bad enough, then you put the work in. She said, I'm very proud of you and congratulations. Oh. And I take that same approach too, because I have soldiers come to me all the time and be like, hey, sir, how it is about, you know, I want to do green to go. I said, hey, look, go look it up on Google. Look it up, come back and talk to me. Mm-hmm. How many come back?
About 10%.
10%. But I give them the tools, and if they come back with me, I can help them walk it through.
Yeah, and it's like nowadays you got Facebook groups, you got like all this stuff, man, right at your fingertips that people didn't even have before. So it's like I have, you know, in researching things on my own, I built my own websites, I've created logos, I've like created book covers, like I have started a nonprofit, even got 501c3 status, like by myself. Mm-hmm. So if you really, really want to do something, you will figure it out, and you will like really push and ask people, reach out to people. But my thing is too, on this spiritual journey, you have to know the direction that you want to go with your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you put mixed signals out into the universe, God will bring back mixed things. Like you can't be all over the place. You got to have like a direct vision
Mm-hmm.
for your life. Because if you're trying to do this and trying to do that, it's something is going to fall. Something ain't going to, go according to plan.
Well, that's why the Bible said, write the vision
And make it plain.
and make it plain, not complex.
Yeah.
Plain mean I fully understand what the vision is.
Yes.
And when you have multiple vision, that is division.
Yep.
And that gives room to dysfunction.
Yep.
And a lot of us are comfortable operating in that dysfunction, but I will tell you, dysfunction will never give you the sense of fulfillment that when you truly operating in your authentic purpose.
Yes.
And one thing we have to realize, everything we want to do ain't for us to do.
Yeah.
So like what you just said about logos, I do videos, I've done a lot.
I do it all.
Just learn it, because you know what? I had a desire to learn it. I had a desire to get better. And I just like to say this too, just in other things, even with what we started off the show about, talking about, our spiritual journey. And if we want to change something in 2021, there's so much information out there. Put the work in, put that work in, and make those changes. Be disciplined about making those changes that you need to make. Get up when you don't feel like getting up. You control your body. You control what you do. Everything you do is based off of decision. So put that meat down, put that burger down. Okay, I'm gonna get up. I'm a meal prep. Do what you got to do, and be honest with yourself, and have somebody that you can be accountable to.
Yes, and also work on maximizing your time. Like if the kids don't wake up till like 6:30, wake up at 5. Work on stuff that you need to do before you get the kids up, before you got to go to work. You know what I mean? If when you come home, you got to cook dinner, you got to do laundry, you all over the place. Give your kids a bedtime. Like get some structure in your household, so okay, I know the kids will be asleep by 9:30, 9 o'clock. I can work on my side hustle, my business, whatever it is, outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And go on.
No, I said, and the other thing too is your occupation is what you do. You have to learn how to prioritize that to where it's not consuming the responsibility, or overtaking the responsibility of what you're supposed to do with those that are there, that God has blessed you with. And I say that because people don't realize just how short your kids are with you in the time frame of your life.
Yeah.
And you can miss a lot of moments that you can't get back because your priorities is in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I look at it right now. I've been out of my mom's house 5 years longer than I lived in it.
Yeah.
So 23 years I've been out of my mom's house. I lived in there for 18 years. We can spend so much time on the things that we do to where we need to take those time. And listen, our kids ain't got nothing to do with what we do for work. We got to, a lot of us, I'm saying, we got to, in 2020, somebody watching this, you got to prioritize your life better.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your family. They deserve better. They don't deserve scraps. They don't deserve the secondhand stuff. You got to change.
And one thing I like to talk about too is present time consciousness. So whatever's in front of you, focus on that. If you're at work, focus on work. If you're at home, focus on your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that. You know how you go to restaurants, everybody on their phone. You come home, everybody on their phone. Nobody's talking at the dinner table. How was school? You got bullied today. You don't even know. A lot of people don't even know what's going on with their kids.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the conversation. So I think when, looking into and pursuing your spiritual health, you need to also kind of focus on those things as well, because it all works together.
Yep. And being present doesn't mean that you're there.
Right.
And a lot of people
paying money
don't
mean that you're there. Okay. You have to spend time with these kids and you got to get in their business.
Get in their business.
Privacy don't exist over here, honey. I know everything.
You have privacy when you got your own place.
My house.
You're out my house. You have 100% privacy.
Well, Robert, I just want to say thank you so much for tonight. It has been a really great show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people will get a lot of great information out of this show as well. Next week, you guys, I have an herbalist coming on, and she is going to be talking about functional medicine and, creating herbs and things of that nature. And so you guys will be able to learn a lot from her. Also, the week after that, I'm going to have Miss Sheila Sullivan on as well. And she is going to be talking to us about the AIDS and HIV epidemic, because a lot of people, if you really pay attention, a lot of people have not been getting tested like they used to. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind, but it is very real and it is still here. And also on January 7th, I have this is a special edition episode. And she's actually going to be coming on talking to us about the COVID-19 vaccination and how we can protect ourselves at home. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And I hope you guys tune in. Be sure to tune in every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can follow me on all social media at Random Health-ish. And Robert, you want to put a plug into your weekly show as well? How can people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me going on Facebook. I'm on all social media platforms as well. If you go on Facebook, look up the Conversation. That's my page. Also, you can go on. I'm on Instagram at The Conversation 98. Also, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel at The Conversation 98 as well. So, hey, go check me out. I'm on Twitter as well at The Conversation. So I'm on The Conversation 98. So I'm on all of that. Please check me out on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be releasing the subject shortly, no later than tomorrow or Wednesday for this Saturday. And just looking forward to a great conversation. Really enjoyed this past week. And hey, tune in because I think God is doing some great things, and I really enjoy what you're doing. And I'm definitely going to be tuning in going forward.
Yes, well, thank you so much. And I hope to see you guys next week. Be sure to tune in, and Happy New Year.